They were from InfoWars, the mega empire of suspicion, a radio show, website, and vastly profitable store of lifestyle products, founded by Austin, Texas-based host Alex Jones. Later that night, I saw the enormous men again in a Mexican restaurant, quietly shoveling chips into their mouths with their bare paw hands. After a few minutes, with a huge amount of bustling and self-important murmuring, a couple of them ushered in Alex Jones himself, installing him on a bar stool and pouring him shots of tequila. I went over to say hello. The men looked concerned. One of them held up a hand. "You can have 2 minutes," he told me. Jones was red-faced and effusive. We'd never met before, and I was interrupting his dinner, but he greeted me warmly. We had a brief, scattershot conversation. We talked about Trump, whom he was there to support. I asked whether he thought vaccines cause autism. "I think they contribute to it," he said, nodding. "They don't." I asked whether he considered himself woke, the slang for a politically conscious, socially aware person. "What?" he asked. I explained what it meant. "I'm 100% woke," Jones replied in his signature growl. He beamed at me. "I am woke," he repeated. Everyone smiled at one another, the InfoWars guys, Jones, and me. One of them signaled that it was time for me to take my leave. I did. As on the conspiracy, my first reaction was to treat the exchange as a lark. It was the kind of interaction you might have with a harmless, nutty radio shock jock, because that's what Alex Jones was for many years. A guy shouting into a microphone, warning that the government was trying to make everyone gay through covert chemical warfare, the homosexuality agents leaching into our water supply and from our plastic bottles. "They're turning the freaking frogs gay," he famously shouted. The clip quickly went viral and provoked mass hilarity on Twitter. Jones also made less adorably kooky claims, that a number of mass shootings and acts of terrorism like the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing were faked by the government, that the CEO of Chobani, the yogurt company, was busy importing migrant rapists to work at its Idaho plant, that Hillary Clinton is an actual demon who smells of sulfur, hails from hell itself, and has, quote, personally murdered and chopped up and raped little children. Jones was closer to the mainstream's attention than most people on the conspiracy fringe, largely thanks to the seminal 2001 book Them by British journalist John Ronson, one chapter of which chronicled the pair's extremely weird adventure of trying to get into a top-secret meeting of world leaders at Bohemian Grove in Northern California. They made it inside. Memorably, Ronson beheld a bunch of those world leaders putting on childish skits and peeing on trees as a sort of boys cutting loose weekend. Jones, meanwhile, has always maintained that the whole thing was an occult playground for the elites, and that an effigy burned during the week was nothing less than a bizarre pagan ritual, and that the world's most powerful people engage in ancient Canaanite, Luciferian, Babylon mystery religion ceremonies, as a film he made about it declared. But while I was joking around with Jones, he was at the RNC on important business, it turned out. He was there to meet with Roger Stone, former Richard Nixon advisor turned dirty trick specialist and trusted ally of the Trump campaign. Jones and Trump were in fact longtime mutual fans. After announcing his run, candidate Trump made one of his first media appearances on Jones's show, appearing via Skype from Trump Tower. Jones endorsed him early and often, and in turn, many of the radio host's favorite talking points started turning up in Trump's speeches. Jones began darkly predicting that the election would be rigged in Clinton's favor, a claim that Trump quickly made a central tenet of the latter days of his campaign. At the end of September, Jones began predicting that Clinton would be on performance-enhancing drugs of some kind during the presidential debates. By October, Trump was implying that too and demanding that Clinton be drug-tested. Soon after, the United States narrowly elected a conspiracy enthusiast as its president, a man who wrongly believes that vaccines cause autism, that global warming is a hoax perpetuated by the Chinese, quote, in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive, as he tweeted in 2012, and who claimed for attention and political gain that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. And one of the first people President-elect Trump called after his thunderous upset victory was Alex Jones. In fact, Trump found time to call Jones along with a few oddly prioritized world leaders before he or any member of his transition team had contacted anyone at the Pentagon or the State or Justice Departments. Then, in a very short time, some of the most wild-eyed conspiracy mongers in the country were influencing federal policy and taking meetings at the White House. Here's the thing. The conspiracy theorists aboard the cruise and in the streets of Cleveland could have warned me that Trump's election was coming had I only been willing to listen. Many of the hardcore conspiracy theorists I sailed with weren't very engaged in politics, given that they believe it's a fake system designed to